In this example, we will be working with compound interest. Note that compound interest is different than the simple interest we looked at in section 3A, in that simple interest only earns interest on the original amount invested or the principal, whereas compound interest earns interest not only on the principal, but also on any interest earned along the way. In this example, we have $1,000 invested in an account at 7% compounded quarterly, and we want to know how much is in the account at the end of 5 years. So since we're working with compound interest, we will use our compound interest formula, which is FV, which represents our future value or the amount in the account at some point in the future, is equal to P, which represents our principal or the original amount invested, times 1 plus R. In this case, R is our percentage or our rate as a decimal, divided by N. And in this formula, N represents the number of compounding periods per year. Now, it's important to recognize that when working with compound interest, you can have various compounding periods per year. For example, if the interest is compounded annually, then that would be an N value of 1 or 1 time per year. If the interest was compounded semi-annually, then that would be an N value of 2 or twice a year. For quarterly, that would be 4 times a year, so our N value would be 4, and so forth and so on. And then we have that raised to the N times T power. And in this case, T represents the time in years. So now that we have our formula for working with compound interest, now we're ready to plug in our values for this particular example. So we're asked to find how much is in the account at the end of some time, 5 years in this case. So what we're looking for is the future value. The P value, or the principal, is the original amount invested, so that would be $1,000 in this case, times 1 plus our R value is our rate as a decimal, so 7% in decimal form would be 0.07, divided by our N value. So notice that in this case we're told that we are compounding quarterly, so that would be 4 times per year. So our N value would be 4, and then our T value is our time in years, so in this case 5. Now that we have all of our numbers input into our formula, we're ready to solve for FV, or our future value. Remember that when we are putting this into the calculator, we want to make sure that we do not round into the final answer. And because we're working with money, we will round our final answer to 2 decimal places. So once we put all this into our calculator, we get a future value of $1,414.78.